Hi, this is a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, good morning. Well, every so often, as you know, I get a letter which seems to be so full of information that's about general things like health that I feel that I should read it out as a letter. And this one, it came from Paul J. I'm sure that he won't mind me saying that because it is an informational thing. He's not talking about his personal life, so it's not any betrayal of confidence. So, thanks for sending this in, Paul. This is in response to the story that we told of the lady that has had surgery for cancer. She's had the surgery over a year ago and was advised to have chemo. Now, as you may know, I'm not a lover of the idea of chemo, where they go in and it's a kind of I don't know, cut and burn to me, and I think that there are better ways to do it. Well, having said that there are better ways to do it, there are better ways to lose weight than to go on these fad diets, but people don't do them because going on the real health trip is tough. It's hard. It's not an easy thing. I recommended the juicer as being a way that people can change the way that they look. Sorry, it's pretty hot here right now. The juicer can change the way that people look, and I recommended a movie called Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead. It's an offensive title for a lot of people because they take it personally, and they think that because you're recommending it to them, you think that they're fat, sick and nearly dead. Well, no, that movie is about an incredible success story. Not just one success story, but how the man went on, in Aussie terms, he went on walkabout in America, and he influenced the lives of several people, as well as changing his own by using the juicer as a way to do it. Well, anyway, Paul explains what his what his activity is, and how he is in some way qualified to talk about cancer. Now, we got just one gift for the lady who is suffering cancer, which was a little fraction over 7,000 pesos. We didn't get any other gifts that would allow her to take the full chemo. Not sure that that was a bad thing, but who knows what's going to happen. What I do know is that what is here, according to Paul, and it works for me, what he is saying, how on earth anybody in the Philippines would be able to adhere to this, I don't know. But it's all good information in my mind, and I think this is what I would do if I was suddenly struck down with that malady. So, I'll read the letter just as I got it, okay? So, don't kill the messenger, okay? Hi Terence, I work for the medical health insurance in Belgium. What can I say about cancer treatment? 1. Have only a plant-based diet, never animal products, no matter what kind. To be more clear, no meat, no fish, no dairy, no eggs, no fish, no fowl, 100% plant-based. A plant-based diet gives everything you need. Have well-cleaned veggies, 90%, and fruits only 10%. Know what feeds cancer? Fats, sugars, and everything that turns into sugars, salt, and excess protein from animal products. Fruits are okay in 10%. Salt is necessary for the cardiovascular system. It is a necessary mineral for other functions too, so only a little. Clean with clean water with some salt and lemon to get rid of all the pesticides and fungicides used. Even if the product was labeled organic, have it peeled if necessary. Have it raw as much as possible, taken in consideration a very safe way of cleaning extra well. Have it Cooked if the nature of the veggie is that it cannot be consumed raw, just like broccoli, potatoes, cauliflower, etc. Have it steamed if possible. Never fry. I heard that before. Never eat burned, even slightly, food. You are eating acrylamides, the precursor of cancer. Never use any kind of oil. Use vinegar as beverage or any liquid, but never oil. Any oil feeds cancer and blocks arteries. It's proven. Use 3 supplements which are important as they are mostly provided by animal products. Vitamin D, vitamin B12, omega-3 in a form of flax seeds or chia seeds, grinded with a coffee molain. Fresh seeds, no roasted seeds as they lose their power when roasted. No fish oil, omega-3, very bad as they contain chemicals boosting cancer. As long as there is enough sunshine, do no supplement with vitamin D, only if there is not enough sunshine. Blood checkups may be done, let me see, a few months after this new lifestyle. So, blood checkups may be done a few months after this lifestyle to see for possible shortages, what normally they do not occur. So, you have the blood test after you've had been on this new lifestyle and diet, and you can have the blood test for possible shortages of what you need, but apparently they do not occur. Know this, only 5 to 10% of chemotherapy cancer treatments, including radiation, which burns tissue and cells forever, cures cancer. Let me read that again. Only this, know this, only 5 to 10% of chemotherapy cancer treatments, including radiation, which burns tissues and cells forever. In other words, what's burned stays burned. Cures cancer. 90% of these treatments give only death. Most cancer patients live still for many years with a healthy lifestyle, and many of them have a natural cure. The majority of the chemotherapy treatments give death within 3 months. Combination with juicing well-cleaned produce is a big plus. There are herbs and seeds which are helping to combat cancer. There are many, but just a few examples here. Curcuma, I think that's how you spell it, or curcuma. Ginger, mint. I just noticed there, ginger. Ginger is a dominant use in Filipino cooking. Lots of ginger. I've bitten on a few chunks of ginger and I can attest to that. So, curcuma, ginger, mint, nigella, or as they might say in the Philippines, nigella seeds, broccoli, fresh moringa and dried moringa in powder. More about this on request. Any questions, just ask. Greetings, Paul J. from Belgium. Thank you, Paul. Lots of those points that you brought up I have heard and dealt with before. Your list is comprehensive, and I thank you for that. I don't know. The bad news is that I don't know how that lady who is suffering from cancer at this point would ever be able to go on and do this. And I think that a lot of people are in that level of, what can we say, emotional tone where they've already given up. And I take the fact that not many people, even though lots of people were touched by the story of the lady who has cancer, I think that that lack of help in her direction comes from this feeling of helplessness in the face of cancer. Now, another friend who I'm not quick enough on my phone to pull up the messages. I get the messages on my phone. I'm not quick enough to pull that up, but I do remember one particular message, comment that I got, who also said that of the companies, these various groups, I think that there was one that came on the air, Telethon, in the early days of Telethon, when Telethon was really quite a revolutionary thing, and they came on and they did all kinds of stuff, and it was hosted by an old comedian, movie comedian, Jerry Lewis. And Jerry Lewis, I guess, was instrumental in raising what were hundreds of millions of dollars, like hundreds of millions of dollars, for cancer research. Now, the thing about cancer research, in my mind, and this was also added to by a friend that wrote this, and he'll know who he is. I've forgotten what the post is, and as I say, can't actually bring it out quick enough. But he said that 90% goes into research, not for, well, for treatment is really what they're looking at, and the key word is treatment. Now, if you can find a pill to treat the effects of cancer and hold it at bay, then you're on to making a lot of money, because everybody wants to keep cancer at bay. But that's secondary choice to curing cancer. And I don't think that too much is actually paid in terms of attention or money to curing cancer. And as I've said before, it's a controversial way to say it, and not many people believe it. But we as ordinary laymen, we don't own the use of the word cure. That's why whenever you go on to any site on the internet, no matter what their success rate is, if they are not part of the medical profession, which is a licensed authority, if you're not part of well, you wouldn't be part of the people who make pills. If you start saying that you can cure cancer, boy, they'll be on you like a ton of bricks. You can't say that you cure anything. Well, that's why you get these disclaimers which say this is not intended to be any kind of a cure, and if you are in any doubt about anything, you should get in touch with and these are the key words, a licensed medical practitioner. A licensed medical practitioner. And there's the key words. I told the story the last time that we talked about this. I told the story of the chiropractor who I went to in Fort Myers, who two or three other people independently talked about how he had helped people to beat cancer. Incidentally, I had to repeat that story, sorry, a repeat, but to repeat that story, I happened to be going to him a few days later for an adjustment on my back. And I said, I understand, and I told him about the conversation where these couple of other people and I were talking, and suddenly we came up with the story, independently, story of a guy who had cured people, and it turned out to be him. All of us turned out to be talking about him. So I mentioned this to him, and I said, so in fact you actually cured someone of cancer. And he said, I didn't cure him of cancer. He said, what I showed him was how to be healthy. Now, that's what I think that our friend here in this letter to me, Paul J., is talking about. What he's talking about is getting the body back into a routine that will keep it healthy. Everything that we eat has been interfered with in some way or other, unless you go out to the tree and pluck it off the tree. It's been interfered with. Now, when you go around, the next time you go around a supermarket, walk down some of the aisles and poke in the back of some of the processed goods that are on there. And if you poke in the back where product keeps getting pushed to the back when they restock the shelves, you'll probably find things there which are actually months and months old. In fact, when you look at the sell-by date, you'll find that the sell-by date might say in 1 year hence. Now, just imagine what they have to do to a product which you're going to eat for it to be sold in 1 year's time and still be edible and not poison you. Now, there was another movie which maybe you should watch, which I hadn't intended. This just popped into my head. But it was, I think it was called Supersize This. And it was about a man who decided that, well, maybe, I wonder if McDonald's food is actually healthy. Can you really live on McDonald's food? And he set himself, I think, 1 month. He went to see a doctor to make sure that he was okay, I believe. The doctor said, sure, you're a young man in good health. So he went, and from day one, let's say the first day of May, he ate nothing but McDonald's. Now, the only condition he put on himself was that he had to try every single thing on the menu. So, 3 meals a day, McDonald's. Never mind about being tired of the taste. He did it as an experiment. During that time, his girlfriend complained that, in fact, his interest in sex went down. He was not as loving. He threw up quite a few times. He did all of the, and I think that he had to supersize something at some time or other and scarf that down as well. So, about, I think, don't quote me on this, but have a look at the movie. I'm sure that you can get it on YouTube. And it catalogues, chronicles his trip through the McDonald's diet. And he tried everything. And after about, I think, 2 to 3 weeks, I think his girlfriend was almost ready to leave him, right? He'd thrown up quite a few times. And he went to see his doctor just for a checkup, and I think his doctor actually resigned from the experiment or from the program and said, I don't see anything good happening here, and I'm out of it, and I recommend that you should be too. He had some moments of doubt about whether he should consider pulling out and stopping it, but he wanted to do the whole 28 or 31 days, and he had a chat with his brother, and his brother said, hell man, I've been eating McDonald's all my life practically, and look at me, I'm still fine. It's not going to kill you. So he forged ahead and he finished the program. That means that all of the food that he took in was creating its side effect, and, well, his movie tells it much better than I can, but it does talk about how with fries, there are other experiments on YouTube with fries, and and I did this myself. I went to McDonald's and I got a small fries and I kept it in the bag to go, okay? When I got home, I just put the bag up on top of the fridge and I left it there, and I left it there, and I left it there, and I left it there. And after several weeks, I took it down and looked at the fries. Now, what happens to your food if you leave it for several weeks? Well, it goes to mold. The fries looked exactly like the day I bought them. Take from that what you will, but 3 weeks had done nothing to make them look any different to the fry that you would buy today. In fact, those fries probably could be sold to you today and you wouldn't know the difference. Now, that's coming from someone who enjoys going down to McDonald's and having a big breakfast. And so I'm not doing a holier than thou view of this and saying, well, you should be this and you should be that. We're all caught up in this thing. Try to give up sugar and start looking at labels, and you'll find that sugar is in the most unlikely things. And I think the other thing is soy. That's something that's being used all the time. There are some products that are in our food and they defy reasoning for why. So, started off in cancer and ended up in just talking about what is in food generally. And boy, when you start reading labels, then you really start to learn a lot. The other thing, of course, is the organically produced. They change it. They organically, and they change the way that it is. That's why you can get enormous tomatoes that are bigger than a softball. Well, they've been interfered with, and I don't think it's in a good way. So I'm not a fanatic on organically grown stuff, but I try to be sensible. In the Philippines, it's not always so easy because veggies are pretty expensive depending on what veggies you go for. Like potatoes, if you're in Bohol, potatoes I think are quite expensive because they're grown in Baguio. I think that's true. So it's not always easy, and you end up in apathy and saying, oh, what the hell, I'll have large fries please, can you supersize that? And I'm the worst. So, foreigner in the Philippines, I hope you enjoyed that letter. Thank you, Paul. And yes, the postscript at the end of your letter said, if you want more information, I would love to see more information, and I will read it out and make a video on it, okay? So that everybody knows just how careful they would have to be if they're about to die. Seems like a good trade-off. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Thanks for looking in. Bye.